Today I'm looking at a mechanical keyboard, the Epomaker Ajazz AK820. I was curious with the price going lower and lower on mechanical keyboard, what can you get for around $100 Canadian? In that case, it was on sale at 80 on Amazon. One thing I really like about that keyboard is that it has a triple mode. So you can use it in USB-C, in Bluetooth, or on 2.4 gigahertz, giving you a lot of option, which I like because right now I'm using a two desk, two monitor setup. And instead of having two keyboard plug, I can just like have the keyboard going from one desk to the other using Bluetooth or 2.4 gigahertz. It's not a full review because I'm not measuring latency and things like that. I was just curious what kind of keyboard quality you could get for that price. It's a 75% like keyboard. So let's dive in.
Let's look at some of the spec. The first thing that caught my attention was the triple connection mode because you can use Bluetooth, 2.4 gigahertz, or USB. I really like that you have that versatility. I really like the color scheme with the white and purple and blue key. Of course, it does have RGB, which I think is really useful at night, but you can also turn it off if you don't want it. I also really like having a small screen to change the setting without having to memorize keyboard shortcut or install some bloatware software. And you can see here all the layers that make this keyboard. I'm really not an expert, so I don't know if they are good or bad versus other mechanical keyboard. First, let's do a quick unboxing to see what kind of accessory and what come in the box. It's a Ajazz Timecode X. Quick Google doesn't provide a lot of information about those company. Also, the switch are called Flying Fish switch. First time I ever heard of those, but we'll look a little more deeply into that later. You get a USB-C to USB-A charging cable and also to use in USB mode. And you have like a tool to remove the keycap. At the back, you can see the 2 feet for the keyboard, and you have a space to put the 2.4 gigahertz dongle. The back is plastic, it's not a metal plate like some more expensive keyboard have. I really like the color scheme of the keycap. You also have RGB, and one main feature of the keyboard is that you have a 0.85 inch LCD screen. I really thought it would be a gimmick that I wouldn't use, but I really like that you can adjust the settings directly using that screen and the wheel. So instead of memorizing keyboard shortcut like to switch, like let's say the color effect scheme, when typing you have a really satisfying sound, and but at the same time it's quieter than like a Razer keyboard that I have, which I appreciate. The screen is not touchscreen, but I had to try it just to make sure. You can control a lot of settings like the brightness, the RGB mode, if you want it on and off, the effect. I had a lot of difficulty trying to capture the screen for the footage, like with it's probably because of the RGB, but in the end you can see it switch, so I think it's good enough for now. So what are my conclusions about the AK820 Pro? Well, there's a lot to like. First, I really love the triple mode that you're able to use wired and USB, 2.4 gigahertz and Bluetooth depending of the computer you use. I really thought that the screen to change the setting would be a gimmick, but it's really easier than memorizing shortcut or installing bloatware software. The pricing at $80 Canadian was competitively priced versus other mechanical keyboard, but I'm not an expert in that field. The sound is really good and it's really a satisfying experience to type with this keyboard. And the keyboards also seem well built. Now for the negative, it's tough to say. Nothing come to mind after having the keyboard for 2 weeks, but the durability is unknown because you could use a keyboard for 10 years. So without doing like having a robot to push the key for like a million times, it's kind of tough to know how it's going to be in 5 or 10 years. But the fact that you can replace like the keycap and you have other options, so I'm not too worried about it. Also, they didn't measure latency for gaming performance, like competitive gaming. But the fact that you have the option to use 2.4 gigahertz or USB versus Bluetooth make me think that like it shouldn't be an issue. Thanks for watching.